In the headlines, Parliament amends Income Tax Act to empower the middle class for ownership of a second home. The Minister for Health refutes claims of very high infant mortality rates. And an invitation to girls to pursue careers in information technology. I'm Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details after this.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better. A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, Parliament has amended the Income Tax Act to facilitate the implementation of a number of measures geared at stimulating ownership of a second home or rental properties.
The 3 measures which seek to incentivize homeowners were outlined by Prime Minister Skerrit in his 2019 budget address. These measures include increasing the maximum deduction for mortgage interest from $25,000 per annum to $30,000 per annum. Secondly, allowing a resident to deduct mortgage interest of $30,000 per year on one owner-occupied property and $15,000 per year on a second owner-occupied property. Provision is also made for taxing rental income separately from other income and the application of a flat tax of 20% on net rental income after mortgage interest expenses, property insurance, and other non-capital expenses related to the property being rented are deducted. Prime Minister Skerrit believes this measure will benefit the middle class and the wider economy.
What this measure will do, Mr. Speaker, is that it will encourage the construction industry. It will give motivation for people to want to build more because now there is a benefit. They can now get concessions that could accrue directly to them by way of refunds or a reduction in payments. I take note of the point that the Senator made about the increase in cost of construction, but that will address it, help address, because there's an increase. There's an increase. Well, based on our own analysis, people will benefit. People will benefit. So there's going to be a direct benefit for this. I believe too, Mr. Speaker, that in my view, the economy is not capturing sufficiently or accurately the extent of rental income on people's income and on the GDP of Dominica. Because in many instances, because people don't benefit from it, they may not indicate it. And what this will do is that it will encourage now for a number of people who are off the system, now that there is a benefit to come to the system and benefit from it directly.
Mr. Skerrit says government must do what's necessary to encourage the growth of that sector. The Prime Minister is also seeking the help of the International Monetary Fund to explore the possibility of removing the income tax.
I'm a strong advocate against income tax. I understand the country needs it, and it would be reckless on the part of the Minister of Finance and the Parliament to remove it altogether without proper sound advice. But I believe fundamentally that people should be able, if you provide labor to somebody, then you should keep all of their labor's worth and let you do what you want with your money. And this is why we have invited the International Monetary Fund to assist us with technical assistance. And they have sent me a resume of a gentleman that they have identified, and I've given my no objection to his engagement, to come to review our income tax regime in Dominica and to see whether, if we are to eliminate income tax as we know it altogether, how do we go about replacing that revenue that we would lose from this measure? And if we cannot remove it altogether, can we not look at a flat rate of income tax in Dominica so that people can go home with more of their revenue? And so when we increased, Mr. Speaker, the tax threshold from when we came in 2000, we made it at 12,000. And I believe we took it, to 18,000? And then it now stands at 30,000. You cannot tell me that moving it from 12,000 to 18,000, that there are no benefits. There were benefits when you move it to 12,000 to 18,000. Because it means, therefore, anybody in Dominica who was earning $18,000 then would now pay no income tax. And everybody would get the first $18,000 of their salaries, of their income tax free. Now it is 30,000. And so 30,000 of your first $30,000 per annum that you earn is income tax free in Dominica.
A computer science major at the Dominica State College would like to see more girls become involved in the sector. 18-year-old Brianna Loda is among 5 competitors in the Miss DSC Mass Jamboree pageant this year. Her platform for the show is Girls in Computer Science, encouraging girls to create technology that can change our world.
I'm currently pursuing my associate's degree in geography and computer science. And last year I participated in this activity held by First Global in Dubai, a competition at that incorporated both fields. And I found one, I love technology, and I also love the environment. I love learning more about the earth, how it became what it is now. And for that event, they focused on a theme, ocean opportunities, and this incorporated both of my fields. And I thought that it was very interesting, and I wanted to carry on with it. So that is what sparked my interest for my platform.
Brianna believes more young girls should get involved in computer science and plans to use her tenure at the Dominica State College to bring more awareness to how girls can help transform Dominica's IT sector.
I would say that there are not enough girls. I believe that more girls should get involved in computer science. I can say that it is not really challenging, but it does take a lot of work and determination to get you where you want to be. So I would like to encourage more girls to get into that field. I will start here at the DSC by holding forums to educate them on computer science, and I can also hold activities like robotics events, to get them more involved, show them how, let them get a touch of the field. There's different aspects of computer science, and there's different aspects of geography that I can incorporate in this, so I can make it fun, a learning experience.
Brianna Loda is sponsored by the Insurance Company of the West Indies, AC Shillingford and Company Limited, Posh Nail Spa, and Spongy Taxi Services. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. the Honorable Irvin McIntyre says the purchase of a CT scan and an MRI machine for the new health system are all parts of a new approach to diagnosing health conditions in Dominica. The health minister made the disclosure as part of his contribution to debate on the supplementary appropriations in Parliament. Dr. McIntyre said Dominica was about to make a breakthrough in terms of being able to diagnose the coronavirus.
We have a lab at the hospital. This is not a joke, Mr. Speaker. As a matter of fact, we got reagents today, and there will be training of our staff on Thursday and Friday by Dr. Gresh from the Center for Disease Control, and we will be the only country in the Caribbean that can test for coronavirus. Absolutely no other country in the Caribbean can do this, Mr. Speaker. This is state of the art. Presently, Barbados is trying to get it done. They're working a deal with CAFA. But Dominica will be the only country in the Caribbean that can test for coronavirus. As a matter of fact, on Friday, Dr. Gibre from the Pan American Health Organization gave Dominica up to 80% preparedness. This is much higher than many other OECS countries. As regards to this. And I would rather be wrong with FAO than right with anyone else.
The health minister says HIV viral load testing is also available at the hospital lab, a service not available anywhere else in the OECS. Last year, Dominica recorded 11 cases of tuberculosis. There are 5 cases this year.
3 cases were confirmed, 2 cases are inconclusive, 1 case passed away. But our lab has the gene expert testing to do for tuberculosis. This is the silence. Maybe this is the silence they're talking about, that we're not telling the people all the good things we're doing. That is the silence. But now I'm telling you, and the country knows, this is the effort that we're putting into all these situations. Mr. Speaker, not only that, sometimes the issue with tuberculosis is we have a stock out. There are certain drugs you need to prevent multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, such as pyrazinamide. We have taken it a step further. We have actually got 5,000 of those tablets, so the idea of a stock out doesn't exist anymore. These are the different interventions we are taking. Then people talk about dengue. Last year we had 30 cases of dengue per week. This year we are down to 11. Last year we had about 11 cases admissions. This year we are down to 2. This is the effort, and this is how well we've handled this dengue that has been going around.
A newly themed Arawak House of Culture is in the works. Julian Morris has that story.
Renovations on the building began in 2019 following an announcement by the then Ministry of Tourism and Culture that major repairs would begin on the 2 main cultural centers in the country. To date, renovation works are ongoing, and Chief Cultural Officer Raymond Lawrence says when complete, the refurbished House of Culture will truly reflect its indigenous name.
Arawak is progressing slowly but surely. Most of the work is going on the inside, so maybe when you pass, you don't see much going on the outside. Although now the scaffolding is up, that was what the artists were waiting for, to do the front of the Arawak, the facade and the sides. And then after to do the foyer, when you enter the Arawak, the bar, the pillars. But the theme of it, just give you an idea, is Nature Island. The theme of the look and feel of Arawak is the Nature Island. Because if you'd remember before, Arawak didn't really have a theme as in terms of the look and design. Not criticizing anybody, but that was just, but the name Arawak is indigenous. It's one of the indigenous names of one of the indigenous peoples of Dominica. And we felt because it has the name Arawak, it should reflect something indigenous, Dominican nature.
The stage at the Old Mill Cultural Center is the other piece of infrastructure under renovation.
In fact, we did use, even if it was incomplete, we did use the stage at the Old Mill to stage the 2 Wapduriat pageants for independence. And again, feedback from the people. People seem to like that stage very, very much. And just coming into Old Mill, when they see the stage, they like it. So there's an attractiveness about it, which we're very happy about. But it's not quite complete. There still has to be a sort of a canopy at the front to cover the front of the stage, and the floor of the stage, just at the Old Mill, has to be covered in wood, and doors and windows and panels installed. And plus washing rooms and dressing rooms, that too.
No definite deadline has been set for the completion of the projects as the scope of works has grown.
You know how it is with building. You aim just to do the floor, but when you break down the side, you realize there's another job there. And so that was what was happening with Arawak. So in fact, the work has increased as time goes by with the job. But I hope in the end, it will be of a much higher standard and level than what was there before. And at least we can have another theater, because right now we really don't have a proper theater in Dominica. Arawak is the only one. So we hope that when it's so there's a big need for the completion of Arawak. anybody and everybody that can help us to put a hand and join us in the building and rebuilding of Arawak, we'd appreciate it.
You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
Here are some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better. A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Welcome back. The issue of infant mortality in Dominica received some attention during the debate on supplementary appropriations in Parliament this week. Opposition Senator Honorable Annette Sanford referenced an article in The Lancet in her attempt to highlight deficiencies in the management of the health system. The Lancet is a weekly peer-reviewed general medical journal. It is among the world's oldest, most prestigious, and best-known general medical journals.
The issue published in The Lancet sometime early last year, and it has to do with child and infant mortality in Dominica. Now, when we look at the supplementary estimate, the $2 million I have no issue with for health. I believe health is very important, and the health of a nation is the wealth of its people. Now, the observation heals on the publication that the infant mortality rate situation documented in The Lancet, and that the ministry responded saying that 87.8% was incorrect of the infant mortality rate, but rather 65%. Now, I want us to know that 65% of babies dying is still not good. It's not good enough. And so, with a dwindling population like ours, which experiences negative growth for 2 decades due to mass migration and, of course, to increased cost of living, these statistics are alarming.
Health and Wellness Minister Dr. the Honorable Irvin McIntyre said the Lancet article is not credible and should not be given prominence.
When I hear people talk about our infant mortality, it's very sad. Very, very, very sad. Can you imagine the article in The Lancet? The author cannot even differentiate between intrapattern and neonatal mortality. Totally, totally wrong. You know, Mr. Speaker, the WHO Sustainable Development Goals puts neonatal mortality at, the target is 12 per 100 to 1,000 live births. And that is by 2030. We are only in 2020 and we have achieved 8.3 per 1,000 live births. And the WHO for infant mortality puts the Sustainable Development Goal as 25 per 1,000 live birth. We are 8.3. We have achieved this already. Mr. Speaker, we have the lowest neonatal mortality in the OECS. These are facts. These are facts. So when we hear people talk about neonatal mortality, and even the author of that article cannot even differentiate between neonatal. I discussed that with Powell, Mr. Speaker. I discussed that with all the neonatologists in Miami, and they were stunned to see that such an article made the Lancet because it was based on estimates. Ridiculous, Mr. Speaker. So we shouldn't even bother to quote those figures in this honorable House.
To end the news, the headlines again. Parliament amends the Income Tax Act to empower the middle class for ownership of a second home. The Minister for Health refutes claims of a very high infant mortality rate in Dominica. And an invitation to more girls to pursue careers in information technology. Feel free to access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us tomorrow.